Right, take two. My phone went off when I tried to do this video before. Really annoying ringtone, so it ruined the video. Basically, let's turn this up. Everton have not hired a full-time manager yet. Now it's been nearly 3 weeks. David Unsworth has done the results have been mixed. The performances have been improving, and they have won their last game in the league, which was vital. They've climbed out the bottom three. Fans are slowly warming to him. He's not 100% got all the fans on side, but he's a club man. He's got a rhino for a reason. He won't take shirkers, and he's been involved with the youth setup for a while. So a lot of the young players he could bring in, because the transfer window's coming up. They may not have the funds to spend. He might have to sell some players. Sigurdsson screams get rid. Schneidlin screams get rid. He could promote youth players or the under-21s into the main starting lineup and give youth a chance. That's my viewpoint on it. Anyway, the waiting is interesting, because all the other clubs that have sacked managers this season or have had manager changes for whatever reason have been very quick and decisive in who replaces. Even if the managers are, I'm leaving at the end of this season with Man City, Pellegrini being replaced by Pep Guardiola, the club acted decisively and made sure there was a replacement in line to replace. So I'm interested to see this going forward. Now, yes, there's an international break. Some of the Everton players are away with their national sides, be it for qualifying for the World Cup or friendlies, so they're not around the club. The players that will remain, such as Wayne Rooney, for example, he's no longer an international. Key players. Who do they report to? They report to Unsworth for training, or do they keep their own fitness levels up by policing themselves, going to the gym, doing extra training sessions? Who's now in charge? Is Unsworth still caretaker? Is he not? No news on this. None. And I'm not like bashing Everton. I just feel it very strange that they haven't acted decisively in this manner. And this could be to do with the leak of the Paradise Papers. And is it Morsi in charge? Is it Usumov? Whose money is it? Who's actually running the club? The majority stakeholder. Because there's a thing. There's also Usumov has shares in Arsenal as a minority stakeholder, and this could be a conflict of interest. So there's issues going on here where the money is coming from. So I don't want to distract from the fact that Everton haven't hired a manager or named a manager, but there is this floating in the background. Now, I believe the job should be Unsworth's, simply because the managers that have been touted and named as listed and prospective managers are in long-term contracts. Sean Dyche is going to cost a fortune to get away from Burnley. They're doing really, really well in the league. They're pushing the top six. Their league form is really good. They could break into Europe this season. I'm a Blackburn fan. That is hard for me to say. That is brutal for me to say. The Dingles doing well, but they are. That's going to cost a fortune to get it away from that club. It really is. Burnley are going to ask an arm and a leg, and I don't think Everton are willing to pay that. They're really, really not. They've just had to pay Ronald Koeman a massive severance fee. I don't think they're going to have to pay a termination fee for someone to get him out of a contract. It's not going to happen. I look at how decisive West Ham were. They had obviously lined up a replacement for Bilic well before that defeat. They were quick. Leicester gave 2 games to Appleton. They won both games, and I felt that was a little bit hard done by, but they've kept him on as an assistant. As he stated, he was happy to do for the rest of his 3-year contract. Puel comes in, leans on the assistant. They keep getting points and goals. They're doing quite well. They haven't lost since they sacked Craig Shakespeare. They're on a bit of form at the moment. Palace under Hodgson, it was a quick appointment. They improved somewhat. They're not getting the results. They are struggling, but they were very quick and decisive in that action. There are some lower league clubs that have have hired or fired. We're not going to go into Port Vale, Oldham, Gillingham. Oldham, Wellens, manager, he was caretaker. Port Vale, their caretaker became manager. Gillingham, Peter Taylor was caretaker. They got rid of him and hired someone else. But all those clubs, again, if they had a caretaker, they gave him a period of time, a month, a set of games. And then if it hasn't worked out, they replace quickly, because they need consistency, they need to move forward. Everton are now oohing and ahhing. They said they'll give Unsworth a minimum of 4 games. He's had his minimum of 4 games. It's now the international break. Should they name a manager now? Of course they should. So when the players come back, they've got a new voice, he's settled in, the structures are in place, blah, 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 blah. They're not doing that yet. So moving forward, what do Everton do? They need to act decisively. Give the job to Unsworth the rest of the season at least. And then if you have to do a rebuild job, you've got a review in place, and you can do it from there. I don't see the harm of having Unsworth in charge the rest of the season like Moyes is at West Ham. I really don't see the harm in that. They're not going to win the league, we know that, but the FA Cup's coming around. that is a chance for them to gain some momentum, gain some form, and then go into the transfer window going, actually, we're not up here, we were going up. If that can happen, and the youth players get a chance, certain youth players in certain positions, because they're lacking pace in certain areas and they're lacking just general fit, just get the players that aren't performing, Sigurdsson, Schneidlin, out, sell them, because they're clearly not performing for that club. They don't have, something hasn't gone quite right there. Promote some youth, or get the youth to compete with them. They might start performing better if the youth players are sniffing around their positions. They might go, well, hang on a second, where's he come from? That might actually get them to perform. Either sell them or threaten them with this guy's going to change his position. They've got to be comfortable with their position. Unsworth could be very good at that, and he will not take any shirkers. He will expect 110% every game. That is why he's called Rhino. He's like Psycho Stuart Pearce. They expect players to try. Not necessarily to win every game. They don't expect to win every game, but they expect the players to go out and try and win and put the effort in. That is the difference. So there's that. So Everton need to act decisively. Now I've given my viewpoint on it. I think it should be Unsworth. Allardyce has been touted. There are reasons why I don't want him in charge, but they're my personal reasons. But at the same time, I can understand from a footballing standpoint his tactics. I can understand from Everton fans. Looking at how West Ham have dealt with Bilic, the Moyes appointment has not gone down well with the fans. They were saying, we don't want Moyes. Sullivan Gold haven't really taken those considerations on board, but apparently he was the fifth choice, because the four other managers they wanted either they could not afford their buyout clauses or were not interested. Sean Dyche was among that. I think Sean Dyche wants to stay at Burnley as long as possible. If he can guide them into Europe, he's going to stay at Burnley as long as possible until they run their course. Sean Dyche is going to cost a fortune to get out of Burnley, and the clubs that are seeking him are really up against the wall. They've had to pay massive severance fees to their managers. They've got rid of. Issue. But on that point, Everton needs to act decisively now. The longer they wait, the more it undermines the squad and whoever in Unsworth, because he's got to get his message across to the players. It also strikes a bit of discord with the fans. The longer that is waited and the worse it is handled, the more the fans' unrest is going to grow. Ken Wright needs to act now. He's got 2 weeks until the next game, or a week and a half till the next game. He needs to act now, act decisively, act quickly, act now, get a guy in place. Even if it's only for 6 months like David Moyes at West Ham, even if it's like Roy Hodgson, it literally is a sticking plaster till the end of the season. They need someone in charge on a temp to perm basis to basically discuss things with the players and get motion going forward. It is vital. The longer they wait, the less time the new guy or Unsworth has to get his structures in place before the players come back from the international break. The less time they can work and go, right, who's performing, who's not, they can assess where they are. They need to get a guy now you can get in, discuss things with Unsworth if they're going to replace him, or keep Unsworth there. They really need to act quickly. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I know this is an ongoing saga. It's been going on now on my channel for a month. It's getting really interesting. Please like and subscribe. Place your comments below. If you have a viewpoint on this, I want to hear from you. If you are a fan of West Ham and are not happy with Moyes being in charge, please let me know. If you're a fan of Crystal Palace and not happy with Hodgson in charge, if you're a fan of Leicester and are still not growing on, Puel's not growing on you, guess what? You've scored a lot of goals since Appleton's been in charge, and now he's an assistant and Puel's in charge. You're doing well. I want views of clubs who sack their managers and who they put in place with. Thank you very much for watching. I'll have another one for you soon.